Yeah, hi. Hello everyone. Today's lecture is all about the revision of local self-government institutions in India, which forms the third tier of India's federal structure. Now, unlike the general discussion on the Panchayati Raj institution, this lecture would focus majorly on the constitutional architecture, institutional provisions, and legal nuances which the UPSC frequently tests. Now, when we talk about the local self governance institutions, they were being constitutionalized through the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, which came into force in year 1993. This amendment they inserted Part 9th and Part 9A of Indian Constitution. At the same time, they had inserted Schedule 11 and Schedule 12 of Indian Constitution. Now, when we talk about the constitutional structure and architecture of local governance, all of you please remember that two major parts which have been introduced along with all the schedules and all are the Part 9th and Part 9th of Indian Constitution. Part 9th it deals with the panchayats from Article 243 to Article 243O. Part 9th it deals with the municipalities ranging from Article 243 capital P to Article 243 ZC. I have told you about regarding the 11 schedules and 12 schedules. Please remember the 11th schedule it consists of 29 subjects and the 12 schedules which deals with the municipalities it consists of 18 subjects. Thus this constitutional amendments in the form of 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act created a constitutional framework for decentralized governance in India. Now, we are going to see the definition of the Panchayati Raj organization and institutions. So, Article 243 it provides the definitions which are relevant to the Panchayat. Now, the important terms which are included under it are the Gram Sabha, district, intermediate level, Panchayat, population. So, these are like the bricks to understand the local self-governance institution. Apart from this, we also need to focus that the local self-governance is a three-tier institution. So intermediary level, it consists of Panchayat. Panchayat is compulsory only on those states which are having the population about 20 lakhs. Below 20 lakhs, they don't have that kind of compulsion like in Goa and all. So the smaller states, they would be having the two-tier local self-governance architecture. Then Article 243 capital A, it talks about the Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha is the foundational institution of our rural democracy. It consists of all the persons who are registered in electoral roll of a village within a panchayat area. Unlike panchayat, it is not a representative institution, but it's a deliberative body of direct democracy where the people would come, they can deliberate, they can discuss about the major issues in the form of Gram Sabhas. In many states, 3 to 4 times Gram Sabha is compulsory per year. The constitution empowers the state legislature to determine the power of this Panchayati Raj institution. The typical role of this Panchayati Raj institutions are social audit, approval of village developmental plans, monitoring of welfare scheme, and likewise. Thereafter, Article 243 capital B, it talks about constitution of Panchayat, means composition of Panchayat. So, the Panchayat, it is mandatory at all the three tiers. At the village level, you have Gram Panchayat, at the intermediate level, you have Panchayat Samiti, and at the district level, you have the Jila Panchayat. However, as mentioned earlier, the intermediate tier, please remember, is not compulsory in those states having the population below 20 lakhs. This constitutional mandate ensures uniform institutional structure across the states. At the same time, it retains the flexibility with respect to the smaller state as well, in order to maintain the administrative prudence. Thereafter comes the Article 243 capital C, which talks about the composition of the Panchayat. So Article 243 capital C it allows the state legislature to determine the composition of Panchayat. However, please remember two principal are constitutionally mandated herein. What are those two principles? First, the members must be directly elected by the people, and that's why it's a form of direct democracy. Second, the chairperson at the village level is elected in the manner prescribed by the state legislature. Means state legislature can define and describe in which particular manner the Gram Panchayat head would be selected or elected. At intermediate and district level, the chairperson may be elected directly or indirectly. It is depending on the state law, state legislature's dictum. That you need to remember. Thereafter come Article 243 capital D. In many times in many examinations this have been asked. It talks about the reservation of seats at the panchayat level. So the reservation or the affirmative actions provisions are a central feature of Panchayati Raj. The constitution mandates this kind of affirmative action at the grassroots level as well. So the reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe needed to be there compulsorily proportional to their population. At the same time, not less than one-third reservation for women should be there for the women section, including the chairperson position. In few states, it is reaching up to the 50% as well. Now, one optional thing is that state, if they want, they can provide reservation for the OBC. However, it's not compulsory. India today is one of the largest democracy of the world, which is having such a vibrant grassroots level democracy. Thereafter comes Article 243 capital E, which talks about duration of the panchayat. So every panchayat has a tenure of 5 years. Now with respect to it, please remember there are two safeguards which have been provided. First, if a panchayat is dissolved prematurely, then the fresh elections must be conducted within the 6 months. And this was a question in 2016 prelims. However, if the remaining tenure of that panchayat is less than 6 months, then elections are not mandatory. Means you can club its election with other Gram Panchayat elections which would be coming in the near month. Another critical provision is that a panchayat must complete its tenure unless dissolved according to the law. So till the time it has not been dissolved according to the law, the panchayat must complete its tenure. Thereafter, with respect to conducting the elections of the panchayat, we have State Election Commission enshrined under Article 243 capital K of Indian Constitution. It talks about the responsibility of State Election Commission, like conducting elections to panchayat and municipalities. The governor of that particular state, he or she appoints the State Election Commissioner, who has the mandate to conduct the election at the grassroots level. The commissioners which are there in the state election commissions, they enjoy the security of tenure equivalent to that of the High Court judge. Means they have the security. Now this institutional arrangement, it aims to ensure the autonomy of the local electoral process, and that's why such kind of highest safeguard have been provided to the state election commissioners. Then with respect to the money to the local governance body, we have Article 243 capital R, which talks about State Finance Commission. Compulsorily, the State Finance Commission must be constituted in every 5 years. Its mandate or the function includes: first, reviewing the financial position of panchayat; second, suggesting or recommending a principle governing distribution of taxes to these local bodies, distribution of taxes between the state and this local institution, assignment of the revenues, providing the grant in aid to these local bodies. So these are the mandate of the State Finance Commission as per Article 243 capital I. So you can understand that this is that kind of fiscal architecture which tries to bring fiscal decentralization in India. Thereafter, you have Article 243 capital G, which talks about the power and responsibility of these local institutions. Article 243 capital G, it empowers the state legislature to devolve power to the panchayat. This power relates to the matters listed in the 11th schedule of Indian Constitution, which are having 29 subjects. However, these provisions are enabling rather than mandatory. Now, what does this mean? This means the actual transfer of power, it depends on the legislation made by the state. Means whichever subjects the state legislature want to distribute it up to the grassroots level. Only on those subjects the power can be exercised by the local governance institution. And this is why the degree of decentralization it varies across the federal structure or it varies from state to state in India. Thereafter, when we talk about the 11th schedule of Indian Constitution related with local decentralization, it contains 29 subjects. Some key areas, key subjects are agriculture, small irrigation, that is the minor irrigation, animal husbandry, rural housing, drinking water supply, roads, rural roads, poverty alleviation programs likewise. These powers or these subjects are intended to enable local planning and implementation of developmental program as per the localized needs that you need to remember. Okay, and these provisions are enabler. Thereafter, what is important for you? The powers which have been entrusted to the municipal bodies as per Part 9A or 12th Schedule of Indian Constitution. Article 243 capital Q, it provides the reflection of all this power, responsibilities and the types of municipalities. Like we have Nagar Panchayat for the transitional area. Regarding this, there was a question in 2023 mains examination. Then we have municipal councils for the smaller urban areas. Then we have municipal corporation for the larger urban areas like Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, etc. Now this classification it depends on the population, density and economic activity in that particular region. And this is also your part of urbanization of the GS paper 1. Then when we talk about the composition of municipalities, we have Article 243 capital R. The members of the municipalities are elected directly from the ward. Okay, means that particular territorial constituencies. These wards are being designed by the local developmental authority as per the state law. The constitution also allows representation of member of parliament, member of state legislative assembly. At the same time, experts nominated by the state government in the body of this municipal corporation, municipal bodies, municipal panchayats, etc. However, the nominated members, they do not have any kind of voting right with respect to municipal elections of the chairperson. That you need to remember with respect to nominated members. So there is a difference between the power of elected members and nominated members. Then the next important aspect is the 12th schedule, which consists of 18 subjects which have been entrusted to the municipalities. This includes urban planning, land use regulation, land tenure regulation, urban roads, bridges, water supply, public health, solid waste management, urban poverty alleviation, etc. Again, these subjects are not absolute, rather they are qualified depending on the state legislature how much subjects they want to devolve. Then the important aspect at the district level is District Planning Committee or DPC, enshrined under Article 243 ZC D of Indian Constitution. There was a question in 2012 prelims regarding this as well. So DPC, it consolidated plan which have been prepared by Panchayat and the municipalities. Its purpose is to prepare a comprehensive developmental plan for the district. The DM would be there, the local representatives would be there, MLA would be there, MP would be there. The constitution requires 4/5 of the members under the DPC as the elected representative of the local body so that they can understand and they can suggest accordingly the developmental requirement of that region. The similar analogy can be made with respect to metropolitan area, wherein we have the Metropolitan Planning Committee, enshrined under Article Z E of Indian Constitution. It is designed for the metropolitan areas having a population about 10 lakh. Now, what are the responsibility of this Metropolitan Planning Committee? So, as what the DPC used to do for the district area, MPC used to do it for the metropolitan region, like Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, etc. This MPC, it integrates the plan which have been prepared by municipalities and panchayat within that particular metropolitan area. Now the question might be coming into your mind, whether with respect to the election functioning of this body, whether the judiciary can make an interference. For a revising purpose, please remember the article related with it, that is Article 243O and Article 243ZC, which restricts in the normal circumstances the judicial interference in the local election. But with respect to the functioning, if there would be any kind of malified intention would be there, then obviously the court can question. But court cannot question the delimitation of constituencies. The court cannot questions the validities of law related with the local election. But if there would be an issue with respect to the caste validity of the members and all, and that case may even go up to the judiciary level. So the crux of this story is that the constitutionalization of local governance, which had been brought by Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao as the Prime Minister of India by 73rd and 74th Amendment, it represents a major steps toward decentralized democracy in India. However, despite this overarching constitutional framework, effective decentralization have not been that much effective, and it still depends on the varied level of political will of the state. How much you are devolving finances and fiscal authority to the state. At the same time, the autonomy and the administrative will of that particular local body. So all these aspects would be very crucial in order to make our local democracy as more robust and more vibrant. And every year there is to be one question in prelims, one question in mains, and even sometimes in the interview regarding this particular aspect. Okay, so this is my small endeavor on my part with respect to revising you with respect to the local self-governance body. Thank you so much.